Throughout the Jurassic World franchise, time and time again, people try to control beasts they can't even begin to understand. And each time this happens, chaos follows suit. Jurassic Park, world, laboratories, and manors. All the time, dinosaurs break free and cause unimaginable havoc. Now, while most dinosaurs just act like animals, such as the Giganotosaurus, Rexy, and the D-Rex, there are a certain few that kill for sport. Not to eat or to defend themselves, but out of pure enjoyment. Each time one of these killers of killers is let loose, there is an effort to stop them. Whether it be seasoned hunters, some hired task force, or just simple security, but each time they fail. And these dinosaurs kill countless. But what if a second option made itself known? While yes, he can't stop the original kills, he can at least try and take down these rampaging beasts before they can kill anyone else. Today we have arguably one of the most random videos on this channel, sitting up there with the Upper Moons versus Saja Boys, and Ghidorah versus Nezubernon. Out of sheer desperation, one man is called to take down these beasts, these killers that fit his code. In today's video, we ask a question I promise no one else has ever asked. As Halloween creeps closer and closer, our spooky videos continue on. In today's video, we ask, can Dexter survive Jurassic World? Hello tricksters and treaters, I'm your host Koji Guy, and man, this video has been in the back of my mind for a while now. Now I can already hear you all rolling your eyes, saying that I've lost my mind for doing something as whack as this. And well, I lost my mind when dealing with the Redditors in my comments. Hulk lost, cry me river. Anyways, now as absurd as this fight sounds, as always, I ask you all just give me a moment to explain the ground rules, and then what will happen in each fight. So firstly, let's cover who he'll be fighting and why. Firstly, we'll assume each dinosaur went out on their killing spree, but didn't die at the end of it, having survived their battles and still being very active in their respective areas. Along with that, a cool bit of info is the fact that the Jurassic and Dexter series happened roughly around the same time. So each time Dexter is called out to take down a dinosaur, it would be a different version that would match up time-wise. Along with that, for them to fit Dexter's code, they need to go on their rampages, meaning Dexter will know what they're capable of. So the Indom, for example, he would know she can camouflage. Along with all this, he'll have a week of prep time to gather what materials he needs, being able to use what he has at his disposal, along with wherever he's going and what they have to offer. So again, using the Indom as an example, Dexter will have access to anything Jurassic World has on command and ready to use. So with all that knowledge, let's begin with the wildest video on this channel, shall we? Starting all the way back in the 90s with the big one. The year is 1993. Dexter Morgan has been working at Miami Metro for around 2 years now, and has been killing people for just as long, having already claimed the lives of Nurse Mary, Juan Renes, Aaron Spencer, Tony Ferrer, along with a couple others at this point. Dexter at this point is in his mid-20s. While not quite at his peak strength or strategy, he is still very formidable in combat, likely already being skilled in advanced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Along with just his strength, he is ridiculously smart, graduating at the top of his class, knowing how to hide all evidence, being a master manipulator, and knowing how to hide his alter ego. Dexter sits down on his laptop, Masuka with his annoying giggle, as he says something inappropriate. As he opens his desktop, an email pops up. John Hammond, the name says. Dexter opens it, and it reads as such. Greetings, Mr. Morgan. I am John Hammond. You don't know me, but goody do I know you. You're a killer, yes? Well, don't be spooked by my revelation, but I do require your help. You see, I have a park with dinosaurs. I know you may not believe me, but I have attached some images for proof. You see, we had a recent issue with a certain raptor we call the big one. She hunts for sport and kills for pleasure. We were wondering if you were for hire to come deal with her. Dexter looks at his computer in shock, not only from this Hammond fella knowing who he is, but from seeing images of living, breathing dinosaurs. Dexter quickly responds, and after confirming she fits his code, he packs his things and goes on vacation. Now, how does the big one fit his code? Well, firstly, she kills for sport, not just food. We see that she doesn't hunt out of hunger, rather she enjoys stalking, testing, and killing, setting up traps and using her own pack as bait. Now, while you could chalk this up to her being a stalking animal, firstly, let me have a fun video, gosh! But really, we see she not only stalks, but she waits for her prey to realize she's there, to realize they're too late, and then goes in for the kill. So she, while not the most evil, for sure fits his code. And now the week has gone by, as Dexter flies over Isla Nublar, what tools did he bring? And what feats did he have at this point that could help him in this battle? Now, this Dexter's in a weird in-between, being stronger than his original sense self, but likely not quite Dexter level in the sense of the first TV show. If anything, he's comparable to Dexter Early Cuts, which is a soft canon animated series, though I would very much lean his current strength towards his main series counterpart. So we'll be using things from both series, though anything from New Blood or Resurrection will not be used. In terms of strength, Dexter is an absolute unit of a human, and he has quite a few feats, so stick with me. Dexter is able to, with one arm, overpower and push back Louis Green off the ground, and then pin him to the wall. He's able to grapple and hold his own against Ray Speltzer, a roided unit of a man who took 4 cops with their weapons to take him down. We see he's able to pry open a jammed elevator door, he's able to lift Little Chino and put him into his car. Little Chino weighing at least 270 pounds. He knocks out race belts with a single blow. He breaks necks all the time and quite easily at that. He's able to stab through a man with a harpoon. He stabbed all the way through a bed into a guy below. He slams through wooden walls. He's able to crush a skull with a fire extinguisher. And he's able to decapitate Tony Ferrer all the way back in Original Sin with a single slash. Keep in mind, that was with one arm, and that being the weakest version of Dexter. But moving on to speed, Dexter in Original Sin was able to semi-react to a bullet being shot at him, smiling when it flew towards him. He was able to dodge a flare gun being shot at him. The average flare gun shooting at 333 feet per second, which roughly correlates to 227 miles an hour. And in terms of actual running speed, he's able to catch up and hop onto a moving truck. For durability, he's able to survive a brutal car crash. He is fine after being shot in the leg by Dokes and survives a huge hurricane. Though the very end of series stuff, I wouldn't quite give to this Dexter yet, as it is a bit of a stretch. So pretty much all of his Dexter series feats, besides the hurricane one, could be applied to this Dexter to a slightly smaller extent, as I doubt his strength and durability changed much from this time period to the original show. Though one thing I won't give him is his insane hand-to-hand combat skills he has in the main show. While skilled, yes, it's likely he trained for quite a bit between Original Sin and the main series, so while he can keep his own in a fight, I doubt this version could pull off the wild feat of being able to beat Dokes after being shot and handcuffed. Now, what does Dexter know about the big one at this point? Well, he knows she hunts with her pack. He knows her size, weight, height, color, and the last area she was seen in. And he knows that, like him, she will set up her own plan if she catches a scent of him. So, what tools will he have? Well, for this one, he really only needs his tools. So he has his knives, scalpels, plenty of M99, his power drill, his tranquilizer gun and spear, his saran wrap, and plenty of snacks for his gluttonous appetite. All he really needs from the park is a vehicle, in case he does need to flee. So, with all that laid out, how would he hold up? When Dexter would arrive to Nublar, he wouldn't go to kill just yet. He would wait about, locking himself in a security room, and for a few days or so, watch the island, writing down anything notable in the process, such as where the big one and her pack go through the day, and what they do when it gets dark, and just general stuff like that. But he would spend most of his time studying the big one, along with how she treats her pack, and most importantly, at what point do they not listen to her? After getting enough info, and figuring out what he can, that being which one is actually the big one, Universal, make it clear, please. He would set his plan into motion. Dexter would call in a helicopter to fly over the island, making it look like someone is about to arrive. Knowing how the big one thinks, she would think the same and lure her pack towards the area. Once it gets dark and the pack grows more bold, they would begin to look around the park for people. Hearing chatter, they split up. Two of them head to one side of the park, while the big one and another head towards the helicopter landing pad. Dexter would know the big one would go this way. She thinks mostly about herself and would want to get the food first. The big one would pick up on the slightest scent of human and then follow it to where Dexter is. But as if the lights turned off, she falls. The other raptor running off scared, watching her boss fall limp. Gotcha. All Dexter would need to do is lure the big one into a smaller group so that the other one would flee. And with one M99, it would cause the big one to fall. And he would go ahead and use a second just to really make sure she's out. Given her smaller size, Dexter would set up his kill room in the cafeteria, using his power tools to remove her claws and teeth beforehand. She is no more difficult to him than an amateur killer. She didn't even suspect that she was being hunted all along. With relative ease, Dexter would be able to take out the big one. Between her limited intelligence, cocky attitude, along with an entire island to work with, Dexter takes this one with ease. Even if it came down to hand-to-hand combat, assuming Dexter had his M99 with him, given his wild feats for just being a human, you could argue Dexter with just straight hands could take her out. For real this time, Dexter calls in a helicopter and takes her claw as a trophy, winning the first matchup with no difficulty. 22 years go by. Jurassic Park falls to time as new businessmen open Jurassic World. For Dexter, an entire new life has begun. He's older and now lives in hiding, a quaint cabin in Iron Lake, New York, under the alias of Jim Lindsay. He has left every bit of his past behind. His son, his friends, his home. Too many around him have died. His wife, his sister, his boss. He picked up, leaving it all behind. At least, so he thought. After getting home from a long day of work, Dexter sees he has mail. Strange, he thinks. He opens the mailbox, a single envelope. Dexter goes inside. Everything about the letter is high quality. Even the ink font is fancy. That's when his eyes widen in shock. It's addressed to Dexter Morgan. He sits down and contemplates opening it, but after enough time goes by, he slowly cuts it open, and it reads as such. Written by a Miss Claire. Hello, Mr. Morgan. I was told to message you if Jurassic World were to fail for whatever reason. And after our boss died, we made sure to track you down. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to ask, but he said you would know from the past. We are willing to pay handsomely if you were to come deal with our dinosaur issue. Dexter looks in shock, not wanting to bring his past back, but the money is such a high number he can't refuse. Dexter mails him back and forth for a while just to confirm, and once everything is set in place, his week begins. Now, besides just making plans getting gear, Dexter will spend the first few days getting back into his flow. Now, this fight will be much more difficult than the big one, not because of the dinosaur, but because of Dexter and his state. Dexter at this point hasn't trained much in a long time, and hasn't killed anyone in years. So it's not the fact that the Indom is stronger, it's the fact that Dexter is so much weaker at this point. Nonetheless, having done this for so many years, it's like second nature. And after spending the first few days going over his material, what he knows about the Indom, and sparring when he can, he is roughly back in shape for this. Now, on his way there, what material could he reasonably get, and what would he himself bring? Well, back from his hometown, he would bring a lot of pepper spray, being able to get this from his store. He'll bring his M99, along with a tranquilizer gun and spear, but he'll be mostly relying on Jurassic World itself. He'll take a car and a gyrosphere, a drone and a thermal drone, assuming the normal one can't do that, the tranquilizer they have there, any high caliber gun, and given the place was under construction when this disaster happened, he would take some sort of large construction truck used to transport many tons of rock. Along with all those, he'll have two odd requests. Firstly, an aerosolizing gas bomb, and a lot of them at that. And secondly, some dinosaur harnesses. Now you'll see why he takes these in a bit, but it's likely the park has some sort of tranquilizing aerosolizing gas bomb of sorts. It's reasonable to assume they have these, as they would likely use these to try and tranquilize the flying dinosaurs, as trying to shoot one of them inside the dome would be nearly impossible. Along with that, Jurassic World 100% has plenty of dinosaur-grade harnesses. Given as we see in the games, that's likely an easy way to move dinosaurs from place to place. And lastly, he requests to arrive via sailboat once getting close, that being the first part of his plan. The Indom's location at this point is unknown. All they can guess is that she is likely below the restricted zone and probably near the visitor center. Dexter himself is also pretty certain of this. If she is as smart as they say she is, she would want to stay near her kill zone, ready to kill again if the option presents itself. After Dexter arrives, he'll quickly make his way to the main park via car. At this point, now that he's moving quickly again, unlike the awkward first few minutes when you get off the boat, he is fine with making noise. I mean, she would find out he's here sooner or later, and Dexter doesn't mind if she knows he's on her tail. At this point, he has dealt with countless masterminds. All she has going for her is strength. Dexter, again not being a fool, would quickly find the security room and barricade it, only stepping out for two things. Firstly, the bathroom of course, but secondly, to use his drones. Now, one thing that is super overhyped in the Indom is her thermal camouflaging skills along with her normal camouflage. As well, yes, she can do this to sneak up on her prey, it's not like she's gonna be using it 24/7. Running a simple drone to watch her movements, not to mention the thermal vision feature, would allow him to see her even better. Dexter would quickly be able to find out where she is. Really, the only reason she was so hard to find in film was plot. After a few days, he would easily be able to find out where the Indom stays most often and how far she travels on average. Now, while you may think she might just keep running around, I would argue against it, as after being alone for a few weeks now and having killed off so many other dinosaurs, she would likely start to calm back down. So I doubt she would still be running rampant like she did in the film. After some time, Dexter would quickly learn where she resides most often and would then set his fail-proof plan into place. Given Jurassic World has an insane laboratory, along with Dexter's immeasurable intelligence, he would do two things. Those would be taking both M99, along with the stronger tranquilizer the park has, and turn them into a capsule and gas version. But the gas version is the main thing he'll be using. He waits, and once the Indom moves just to the right area, he puts his plan into motion, simply grabbing a gas mask, along with his giant truck. He revs it up and drives it into the woods, making a perimeter on the area the Indom stays, purposefully making noise to draw the Indom there. Every couple hundred feet, Dexter would activate and throw an aerosolizing mechanism that over the span of about an hour will spew out pepper spray, making an easy barrier to draw the Indom back. The Indom, being smart, seeing this giant truck with its red mist, would not charge. Instead, she turns around and would run towards her nest in the center. But there's always a backup. Using the drone watch from afar, Dexter watches the very moment she enters her home, and using a controller from afar, sets off more aerosolizing sprays, these one being packed with M99, along with the tranquilizer the park has. A few hundred meters of the center are quickly engulfed in this gas. He knows he can't pierce her skin, so why not make her breathe it in instead? The Indom tries to run out of the area, but it's too much ground to cover, as she gets wobbly and falls unconscious. After waiting for a few minutes, along with using the drone to clear out a small amount of the mist, Dexter finally gets to her, standing in front of this sleeping beast. But unlike a certain someone with the Indoraptor, he knows just how big she is, and he knows she'll only be out for a little bit longer. Using his spear, he would jam a few more M99 doses into the inside of her nose to keep her out for a few hours. What if she would have gone for the pepper spray, you may ask? Well, that's where the capsule version come in handy. Dexter, at some point, when the Indom begins her few-hour patrol of the area, would go into the main land and tranquilize whatever animal she eats most often, simply cutting open part of their skin, putting a few capsules in it, and stitching it back shut. So even if she would have left her zone and went through the pepper spray, once she would have gone to eat, she would unknowingly consume these capsules and again fall asleep. Dexter uses a heavy-duty forklift and lifts her onto the construction truck. He ties a few harnesses to her and awaits. The Indom wakes up and freaks out instantly, her feet not being on the ground. She looks down, a metal ground below her. No, a cover. She looks up, and there, in the splash zone, Dexter sits eagerly. She reaches up to try and cut the harness, but her claws and teeth are gone. Dexter waves one of her claws in the air to humiliate her, setting it into his box with a dusty raptor claw from long ago. He doesn't bother to give her a monologue. While she is smart, he knows that she won't know a single thing he's saying. Dexter would simply throw some pictures of people she killed towards her, and with a final wave, he opens the metal cover and lowers himself downward. He sees the Mosa jump up and simply hears a scream and crunch of the Indom. Water and blood do indeed splash him in the process. While not impossible to take down, due to her larger size and super intelligence, Dexter does move on with mid-difficulty. To anyone that thinks this might be wank, I want you to think, really, any human with this gear, along with prep time, could take down the Indom. I came up with these in-character deaths within the span of like 2 hours while writing this, so imagine a super genius with a week of prep, and knowing everything there is to know about her is not as difficult as it seems. Though, lucky for Dexter, his plan worked. But now we move on to the most difficult fight by far. before we continue the video, I have to ask, if you're enjoying the video so far and want to see more wacky matchups like this in the future, then make sure to subscribe. Also, if you made it this far, comment Dokes in the comments, so I know who's a real one. If you're enjoying this video, then trust me, there are plenty more wacky ideas that you will like on the channel. If you're liking this one, I would personally recommend my video on could the Indominus Rex survive Skull Island, or could the Skinwalker survive the Mesozoic? And last thing, I swear, if you are enjoying this video and really want to help support the channel, then consider joining the channel for as little as $1 a month. Joining allows you to see videos early, get member-only streams and polls, and starting today, gives you access to the member-only Discord server, where we talk about upcoming videos, and we'll probably have movie nights here and there. All sorts of fun stuff. Also, off script, the members in there have made a Spotify playlist. Members, the playlist sucks. What do you guys do? There's such a wide variety of genre. You guys gotta tighten up the playlist isn't great, guys. Sorry. Joining really helps me do YouTube full time. So if you really want to give back, then consider joining. But enough yap. Make sure to like, subscribe, hype the video, blah, 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 blah. And let's move on to the third battle, jumping forward into 2018. Dexter sits in his cabin, still before the events of New Blood, but a new Dexter entirely. Having taken out such a massive predators a few years back, it is safe to assume Dexter would likely have gotten back into his old ways, killing people that deserve to die in his eyes. And one day, he gets back to his cabin like always, and there, on his driveway, a limo sits. Dexter walks from his truck as the door opens. A man dressed in a tailored suit approaches. "Hello, Mr. Morgan. I'm Eli Mills, having survived the events of Fallen Kingdom." Mills reached out like many before to ask for the help of the Bay Harbor Butcher. They sit and discuss the job, Dexter making sure the dinosaur fits his code, and it does, by far. Not to mention Mr. Mills does slightly as well, but Dexter pushes that thought to the back of his head. Dexter and Eli agree on a price, and Mr. Mills leaves, sending an email with all the info to Dexter. Now, this fight is by far the most difficult yet. In fact, this puts the others to shame. Well, the past two, Dexter's had an entire island to work with, along with a multi-million-dollar company to use their weapons and assets. Here, he has to work in a large manner with limited material. The Indoraptor is his next target. Dexter would bring his normal gear, N99, his spear, gun, plastic wrap, but along with that, he'll grab some bear traps to put around the house. The first issue arrives the moment he gets there, that being the echolocation. The Indoraptor being able to sense where his foes are without even seeing them. So pretty quickly, the Indo would know that Dexter has arrived. Dexter would have to run as quickly as he can to the security room. This is already where Dexter might go down. If he's too slow to get to the room, then he'll be caught. But assuming he does get there, what can he do from here? Well, the manor really only has guns, and Dexter at this point knows they're futile. Only the Trent gun works, so there's no point in carrying around a large heavy rifle. That in doing so would just slow him down. So all he has is a Trent gun and a pistol. Now, in all honesty, I do think Dexter fails here, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, the moment he leaves the room, the Indoraptor will know where he is. Dexter could try to disorient her by blasting sound through the speakers, but I doubt it would last long. The Indoraptor just has to reach up and rip them out of the wall. He could try and set up bear traps, but it's likely, one, she wouldn't step in them, as she's the smartest dinosaur yet, or two, they just wouldn't do much to her. The only real option I see for Dexter's own survival would be to push his dark passenger aside and act out of character, and not set up a kill room style death like with the big one in the Indom. He could try to lure her down to the bottom floor via using speakers and a scent, but it's likely she would know it's a trap, given she can't sense he's there with her echolocation. But if he does somehow get her down there, Dexter could rupture the same gas tank that almost killed off all the dinosaurs before, and quickly try and run and leave, causing her to suffocate. But for that to happen, so many things need to go just right. Even with Dexter's higher feats at this point, such as being able to react to bullets more often, being able to survive a hurricane that rips his boat apart, being able to be shot in the leg and just walk it off, and being sent flying through a car window, I still don't think it's enough to help him much. You could rank the hurricane feat, but it's not like he was being hit full force by it. He really only had to deal with the waves and the rain. With these current stats, he could 100% box with someone like the big one and likely win a hand-to-hand, but something like the Indoraptor, being so much larger, more durable, faster, and insanely intelligent, puts Dexter at a huge disadvantage. So overall, I would say Dexter has a 20% chance of winning this, and I want to say, no, this is not me saying the Indoraptor is stronger than the Indom. Rather, it's circumstantial. The Indom and the big one were easier due to the location and the tools Dexter had to use, but in a large house with limited items, even with his mastermind, likely couldn't make his way out of this one. Hey everybody, script edit here. It was actually brought to my attention within the last minute of editing this video that Dexter would actually beat the Indoraptor with like 0 difficulty. I don't know how somehow I completely forgot about it, but Dexter could just use a laser pointer and make him trap himself inside of a cell, and then Dexter could just gas that cell too. So I actually don't know how I completely missed that, but I take back everything I just said. Dexter actually wins this one too. But what do you all think? And to quickly answer the comments I know I'll get, yes, Dexter beats Rexy, Spino, D-Rex, and the Giga, as again thanks to the island of space and the material he'll have on deck. And there you go. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I would love to do more wacky videos like this in the future, so make sure to let me know what you want to see down below. Maybe Dexter versus horror slashers, or putting him on Skull Island? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, keep collecting. Goji Guy out. See ya.